So I'm actually going to be going to the first conference in years in July, on July 28 and 29, and I'd love to see you there. Let's talk about that. So on July 28 and 29, I'm going to be going to Louisville, Kentucky for the Greek for Life conference. Now, it's not just a Greek for Life conference, it's also Hebrew, Latin, and a little bit of Aramaic thrown in as well. So it's really about biblical languages and languages related to biblical history. So that includes Latin, I guess, because the 4th century onwards, we start to move into the Latin fathers, and so well, there we go. So this is a great conference though. It's been run 2 times previously. I've missed both of them. The first time I was actually invited to go to it as well, but unfortunately that's when the world turned upside down and I was not able to attend. But nonetheless, I'm looking forward to going this time for the first time ever, and I'll be speaking, and I'll tell you what I'll be speaking on toward the end with a little bit more detail. So before I do that, I wanted to mention that I'm looking forward to some of the talks in particular. So one of them, Daniel Stevens, is doing a talk on the Septuagint, why you should read the Septuagint. We read the Septuagint quite a lot in Biblical Mastery Academy. If you're interested in reading through Greek materials and texts and so on with us as part of our membership, then go to bma.to and download our free roadmap to mastery that'll get you started on that track. But Daniel Stevens is talking about the Septuagint, and I'm looking forward to this for 2 reasons. One, of course, I really like the Septuagint, but 2, Daniel Stevens is actually a fellow student that we were in seminary together in our master's degree together. In fact, we actually did a class together on the readings in the Apostolic Fathers in Greek, and he was that guy who was just so good with his Greek because he did his undergraduate degree in Greek and in the classics. So he was reading Plato and whatnot pretty fluently before he even came to the master's seminary. But he's a great guy, and I'm looking forward to both catching up with him and listening to his talk. Another talk I'm looking forward to is Herschel York's talk on preaching with Greek. Now, Herschel York is professor of Christian preaching at Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, very well versed in this, very good at what he does, and he's a pastor as well, which means he's teaching and he's preaching, teaching. He's teaching, he's preaching, and he's teaching preaching, and he's teaching. So he does a lot of this sort of thing. Anyway, it's going to be a well worthwhile talk because, of course, a lot of people either don't touch Greek for their sermon talk, and you know, those who do, many do it well, but some, of course, misuse the Greek as well. So I'm looking forward to that. Not only that, we also have Peter Gentry speaking there, and he's going to be speaking about verbal aspect, and he's well regarded as a bit of a language expert in the classical sense, classical languages, so, or the ancient languages is probably better. So I'm looking forward to hearing his take on verbal aspect as well. Also, Denny Burke is going to be there, and he's going to be doing a talk on the infinitives. Now, the thing, he's actually written a little book on articular infinitives in the Greek New Testament, which I use a lot. So I'm really looking forward to hearing him in person talk on this specialty subject of his. I think this was actually his dissertation topic for his PhD. So I'm looking forward to meeting him and also sort of talking through the usefulness of this resource and hearing what he has to say as well. Now, there's also going to be a whole bunch of things on Hebrew there, such as Adam Howell, who's going to be doing a talk on Masoretic accents, which is really something that's overlooked and well worth knowing about. I remember working through these things and thinking, wow, this is actually really helpful because it helps you break down a sentence in Hebrew so that you can actually understand how the different components are, how they relate to one another, and so on. So Hebrew accents, very, very well worthwhile attending to that. And then, of course, there are going to be a bunch of other breakout sessions and so on. Now, if you don't have a good knowledge of Greek and Hebrew, you can actually also sign up to go through a refresh course of either Greek or Hebrew prior to the conference. This is, I think, 4 days prior to the conference with either Dr. Plummer for Greek or Dr. Howell for Hebrew. $75 is what it costs. That's well worthwhile going to as well. And of course, if you do want to go to the conference, it's $85 for the 2 days for the conference, or $10 if you're already a SBTS alumni. So it's well worth the price, especially if you're an alumni. And on top of that, of course, there's going to be books. So they're going to be giving you free stuff to take away, including a couple of books, one of which is Daily Scriptures, which is going to be walking through, so just giving you a text each day in the, I think it's the Greek New Testament, that's allowed, you can then read through and sort of talk about or think about each day. And then another one for the Proverbs, so you can read a proverb every day in Hebrew as well. 365 days worth of reading. So those are free if you sign up, which is pretty cool, right? Now, regardless of whether you're going to the conference or not, I'd love it if you would hit the like button to this video to tell me that you know about the conference. And I look forward to maybe hearing and seeing some of you there. Speaking of which, I will be there. Myself and also Frank Hartman, our Hebrew professor, both of us will be at this conference, and we're going to have a stand there as well. And we're going to be doing something a little bit special at the stand. So if you do if you do come along, come visit us, come visit our stand, and we'll love to see you there, and we'll be revealing a little bit more about that when we get to the conference. Nonetheless, come see us and we'd love to see you. I will be speaking, of course, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be speaking about the Granville Sharp Rule. Now, you may know on this channel, some of the most popular videos we've released on this channel have actually been around things like, the deity of Christ. And we tend to get Jehovah's Witnesses and people like that, Arians essentially, sort of jumping on board and arguing with me on those videos. But I thought, hey, here's a great opportunity to talk about who Granville Sharp was, why is there a rule named after him, what is the Granville Sharp Rule, what the Granville Sharp Rule is not, and then how to use the Granville Sharp Rule in discussions around the deity of Christ. And I'm going to give you a little process you can work through that's going to make it really easy to do that. So I look forward to sharing that with you there as well. And I might even make some of that or shrink that talk down into a YouTube video after the conference. Maybe we'll see how we go. And if you want me to do that, well, hit the like button, let us know in the comments below, and we'll look at doing that. So, are you going to the Greek for Life conference? If so, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know that you're going and look forward to seeing you there. If you're not, well, why not? I'm actually kind of curious about that, because especially if you live in the United States, I don't live in the United States and I'm flying to the United States, but it's going to be well worth it. So I'm looking forward to perhaps seeing you there as well. And even if you can't be there and if you can't do the course beforehand or whatever, well, we teach Greek. You can go jump online, go to bma.to/roadmap, download our free roadmap. That gets you on our mailing list as well. And that way we let you know when the next opportunity to join our membership opens up, and you can look forward to doing that as well. Thanks again for watching. I look forward to seeing you and serving you in the next video. Until then, go book your tickets, and I'll see you at the conference.